All right, everyone, welcome. Let's get you all set for your upcoming test. We're going to dive into the fascinating world of English vocabulary today, specifically why we don't all use the same words.
You know, we tend to think of the dictionary as this big book with all the words in it, right? But the reality is way more interesting. Check out this brilliant diagram from the Oxford English Dictionary. It shows that what we all share is just that common core in the middle, but orbiting around it are all these other layers, specialist words, technical terms, slang, you name it. That common core, it's really just the beginning. So that's the big question, isn't it? What exactly are these other layers of vocabulary? And more importantly, what do they tell us about ourselves? Answering this is absolutely key to understanding sociolinguistic variation, and it's what you'll need to know for the exam.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with variation by place. That gives us dialects. Then we'll move to variation by group, which covers jargon and slang. And finally, we'll look at variation by situation, which is all about style. Then we'll tie it all together with a quick summary to make sure you've got it down. First up, let's jump right in with variation by place. This is the world of dialects, where the words we use are literally shaped by the geography of where we live.
And this model here, MacArthur's Circle of World English, it shows this perfectly. You've got this world standard English right there in the center, and then it just radiates outwards, branching off into all these different national and regional types: American, British, Nigerian, Singaporean English, each one with its own unique flavor.
Now for your test, the comparison you absolutely have to know is between British and American English. As you can see here, they make up about 70% of all native speakers, so their differences are a really big deal in the world of dialects. So let's look at a few examples. Think about it. Do you walk on the pavement or the sidewalk? Do you put your luggage in the boot or the trunk? Is that big vehicle a lorry or a truck? As you can see, for everyday things, we can have completely different words. These are the kinds of distinctions you'll want to have in your back pocket for the test. Okay, so we've covered place. Now let's build on that and shift from geography to the social groups we belong to. And this is where we get into some really interesting stuff: jargon and slang. Now, it is vital that you can tell these two apart. They do very different things. Jargon is the language of a profession or a serious hobby. It's all about being precise. Slang, on the other hand, is the language of a social group. It's informal, and it's often about signaling who's in the group and who isn't. Jargon is basically a professional shortcut. In medicine, you've got words like audiogram. In computing, central processing unit. Heck, even sports are packed with it. If you're not a cricket fan, wicket or Yorker might as well be another language. It's super efficient for people in the know, but for everyone else, it can feel like a locked door. And then we have slang. I mean, look at some of these words from youth culture. Fat, wicked. Does anyone even say that anymore? Probably not. And that's the whole point. Slang can change in the blink of an eye, which makes it a super powerful way to mark who belongs to a group right here, right now. Okay, on to our final dimension. We've looked at the big picture with geography and groups. Now we're going to zoom all the way into the immediate situation. And this is all about style. I mean, let's be real. You don't talk to your professor the same way you text your best friend. I hope not anyway. We all do this automatically, right? We tweak our language to fit the moment. And that constant adjustment along the scale from formal to informal, that's what we call stylistic variation. Just look at this example. Patrons are kindly requested to deposit their outer garments. So stiff and formal. Compare that to, please leave your coats in the cloakroom. It means the exact same thing, but it has a completely different vibe. That choice between commence and start, or residence and home, that's style in action. Now, if you go all the way to the very end of the informal skull, you run into taboo language. These aren't just casual words. Society has put up some pretty strong walls around them. And as the quote says, in English, these words usually have to do with sex and bodily functions. Using them breaks a powerful social rule, which makes them a really clear example of a stylistic restriction. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. Here's the framework you need to have in your head so you can walk into that test feeling totally prepared. So to sum it all up, the big takeaway is this: English isn't just one vocabulary, it's a whole collection of them, and they vary across three main dimensions. First, you've got geographical variation, your dialect. Second is social variation, jargon and slang. And third, situational variation, your style. Just remember those three: place, group, and situation. So now that you have this framework,
Take a second and think about your own life. The words you use every day are like a map of your identity. They tell a story about where you're from, what you're into, and who your people are. So what story does your vocabulary tell? Something to think about. Good luck with your studies, everyone.